Okay, friends, starting out in our child's pose. So take your time getting comfortable. Find your breath. Child's pose is one of my favorite ways to allow the low back to let go. So take your time kind of rocking, maybe side to side, giving a little wiggle in your hips. Allow the forehead to settle really heavily. Allow your hips and your ribs to be heavy too. And really invite in your biggest inhales and your biggest exhales. Clean your lungs out. And this big breath is going to help us in this posture to activate all the tissues that wrap around your low back. So starting at your spine, you have these transverse fibers of muscle that wrap around your middle and they meet in front around your belly button, kind of the same way a belt does. And they're called your transversus abdominis. Okay, and you also have your abdominis rectus, which runs top to bottom. So you've got transversus abdominis running horizontally, abdominis rectus running vertically, and you've got your oblique fibers running diagonally. And all of these are creating this beautiful kind of basket weave of muscle tissue around all the space between your hips and your ribs. And part of breathing deeply is expanding and contracting not only your rib cage space, your upper torso, but also your abdominal space. We want to expand and contract there. And that's going to give us a great massage for the low back. So breathe into that space. Soften your jaw. Another thing that's going for us here in this posture, as far as our goal of low back care, is that there's a muscle that runs from the base of your rib cage, okay, just about where your rib cage ends on your spine. And it attaches on that spot on your spine, and it runs down through your abdomen, down through your pelvis. Okay, there's some holes in your pelvis. It runs through there, and it attaches to your femur, your thigh bone. And it's called your psoas or your iliopsoas, depending on what part you're looking at and what part you're talking about. And for just about all of us, friends, it gets tight. And it gets tight when we tend to sit a lot, or when some of us just naturally hold our tension in our hips. We tend to contract that muscle when we're stressed or we're feeling unsafe or drained, okay? And it holds a lot of tension. So here in this posture, we're gently lengthening it. And of course, as you're breathing, you're adding a little bit of gentle movement all around that psoas and iliopsoas. Keep your big breath going. Hopefully you've softened a little bit into this posture. You've opened up a little bit. Start to walk the hands out, walk them away from you, and press down into your fingertips, lift your palms, and start to look under one armpit and then the other. Just bring in a little movement and twisting in your upper back. Remember, as your hands move away from your shoulders move away from your ears, so you want that long neck. And let's make a little side bend happen here. So bring it back to center and then just walk your hands out to the right. Okay, ground your forehead, press down into your palms, and start to pull back on your left hip. Like your left hip wants to move away from your hands. And then breathe deeply into your left side. So you're getting some really good expansion across that whole left side into the armpit, the rib cage, and the low back. So feel that low back. Breathe extra space into there. And you could stay right here if this is really feeling great, or you can move into a little twist from here. So if you wanted to do that, you would just pick up your head. You would reach your left arm underneath your right and drop the left shoulder, drop your left ear, and you've twisted. So you're looking out to the right now. Keep breathing deeply. And then you have the option to stay in this more gentle twist, or you can spice it up a little bit. You can reach up with your right arm, and then you can think of trying to open your arms wide, like you wanted to give someone a hug, okay? And you'll feel right away, that's gonna deepen your twist. So just feel out what you want today, what kind of vibe your practice is right for. You can even drop the right arm across your back and grab onto your left thigh and use it to deepen the twist even more. No matter where you are, breathe. Feel the low back, feel the whole spine, your hips. Maybe one more breath. And let's back out slowly, just come through center, and we'll take it to the other side. So walk your hands to the left, ground your palms and your forehead, and start to pull back on the right hip. So lengthening out the right side. You want to feel it from your armpit to your glute. Use your breath, put some extra space between each rib, put some extra length in each side of your back. So you can stay here or you can twist it by picking up your head, reaching your right arm to the left this time, and dropping your head, dropping your shoulder. Okay, you can keep this version of the twist, just looking out to the left. Feels good behind the right shoulder blade. You're getting some nice spaciousness behind your heart here. Or you can start to reach up with the left hand, opening your arms wide as if to give a hug. Maybe even drop that left arm across your back and grab the right thigh. Use it like a handle. Maybe one more breath here, yogis. And come on up. Bring it back to center. Okay, grab the mat and pull yourself up to hands and knees. Okay, finding some nice flat tabletop back with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide, then put some grip down into your hands. So actively gripping, actively pushing down, and then pull your elbows inward so you're turning on your chest. Okay, and we want to lift the belly button into the low back. So we want to keep the low back safe before we begin to really move the spine. So we'll start some cat-cows, inhaling to move that heart. Pull it forward between your arms. At the same time, lift the belly button so we don't go too much into the low back. And exhale, push the floor away. Hang your head here. It feels nice to just let it hang. And let's do several more rounds like that. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, push the floor. So keep your neck nice and long. Okay, keep the shoulders away from your ears. And then let's take it a little bit side to side. Make it kind of weird. We want some side body movement here. I like to think of this as a jump roping movement. Like your spine is a jump rope. And take it back. Jump rope it back the other way a few times. Feel free to hang out if you find a particularly sticky spot. And then bring it on back to center. Okay, finding a nice flat back. Okay, let's get the right knee up. And start to circle out the right knee. Just keeping the hips level for now. Okay, so try not to let the right hip come up too much. Keep it level with the left. And nice little circles. Start to warm up your hip joints. Okay. Let's rewind it. Okay, now pick up the right hip. Big circles. Make really big, weird circles that go in every direction. And rewind that. Okay, and if this is hard on your wrist, you can always come down to your elbows. By the way, you can do this from your elbows. Okay, just a little wrist watch. Okay, so let's send the right knee forward now and just drop it outside the right hand. So heading into a little lunge. Okay, and lunges are one of our best tools for opening up low back tension. So let's maybe move the left knee back just a touch, but just keep in mind, if you need this to be less of a lunge, if it's a little too much, you can move the left knee forward and your hips won't drop so low. If you kind of like the lunge, you want to kind of dive in, you can move the left knee back and allow your hips to drop low. So decide what's right for you. And then I want to just rock it back and forth a little while. Rocking back, put a really nice flex in your right foot. So getting that ankle flex, get you some opening in the back of the leg. And we'll move a little bit side to side as well. So kind of weird, kind of a silly movement, but just embrace it. Notice the feeling in each hip. And then let's rewind that. Take it back the other way. All right, and then come on back to that lunge. And line the right foot up with your hands, and you'll start to just pull that right knee inward towards your right arm. So I like to think of it as kind of like your right knee is trying to push you to the left. So feel that inward engagement. Notice how that's feeling. And just start to press those legs into the floor. So the right knee is pushing at you. The feet are also pushing down into the floor. So we have some activation, some engagement here. Okay, and see if you could keep that right knee pressing inward and pushing down into the floor with both your feet. We're going to reach up with the right hand. So make a big, big twisty shape here. Big breath in, have a big chest. So feel this twist going all the way down to your hips. Okay, and as you exhale, reach that right hand under your left arm. So try bending your left arm so that you can reach really far. So feel this spreading open in the back of your body. Inhale again, reach it up, spread open the front of your chest. Exhale and reach under, spreading open the back of the rib cage. And let's do that a couple more times. So this nice twisty movement. You're using your breath. Your spine is getting moved. Your upper body is getting opened. And the whole time you're doing this, your legs are strong, pushing against the floor. Okay, maybe next time you reach up, let's hold right there. So reach it up and hold. So we'll just be here for a few more breaths, and you always have the option to rest and just put the right hand down on the floor and take a break. But if this is feeling pretty good and you want a little more opening in the low back, in the legs, you can tuck the left toes, the back toes, and hover the left knee. And I like to think of lifting the kneecap as far away from the floor as I can as I drop the hips. So keep those legs active, and we'll take 3 more long, slow breaths right here. Just being in this posture, take up a lot of space. Bend into the bottom elbow. And 1 more big breath here, friends. And we're letting it go now. So drop the back knee, drop that top hand, and we'll send this back to hands and knees. And from here, tuck your toes, lift those knees, and I just want to walk hands all the way back to feet. Okay, you can take your feet wider than your hips. You can bend the knees, and we're just going to hang and swing a little bit. So just giving your low back a little chance to hang and lengthen. Shake your head. Let it really hang, okay? Feel that all the tissues of your neck are letting go. There's no tension. And I like to do this for long enough that you actually feel that your back did get a little bit longer. So this is a great chance to let your spine hang in traction. And chances are it'll actually get a centimeter longer. Okay, so take a few more big breaths here. Rocking side to side, but also rocking front to back. Onto your toes, onto your heels. Toes, heels. And if your legs feel tense, just bend them a little more at the knees, okay? If you like that opening, you can extend more. But try to keep a little softness in your knees no matter what. Okay, from here, find some stillness. So rock your weight into the middle of each foot, and we're going to roll up. So inhaling, roll up slowly, stack your vertebrae. Point your tailbone at the center of the earth, strong legs push down, reach your heart nice and high. Okay, as you exhale, do a cactus arm. So drive your shoulder blades down your back here as you exhale. You can think of lifting your heart. And inhale to reach it up. And with your exhale, come on down. Hinging at your hips, roll it down. Okay. Come halfway up on your inhale, looking forward. Remember, you can bend your knees a lot to do that. Okay. And with your exhale, give your legs a really nice hug. Let that head hang again. Okay, from here, friends, bring your hands back to the floor. Walk them forward and find yourself back on hands and knees. And we'll just do the other side. So let's get the left knee up and circle it out. So keeping your hips level at first. Rewind it. Okay, now we're gonna really open it up. So pick up the left hip, make a big silly circle, stack it on top of the right hip. Find all the places that left knee can go. Warming up that whole joint, all the little muscles. Let's rewind that. Okay, and then swing that left knee forward and just drop the foot on the outside of your left hand. Okay, adjust your lunge, move the right knee back or forward, make it feel just right. Sometimes you'll have a sensitive knee. Maybe just stick your sweater or you can fold your mat over and put your knee on it if your knees tend to be sensitive. Okay. Also, if your wrists get tired, you can do fingertips. You can even grab a block. Okay, so always you're modifying and taking care of your body. And we'll start to rock it forward and back. So put a nice flex in your left ankle so you can feel the back of the leg really opening up. And then let's mix in some side to side movements too. So we're getting this kind of weird, all the way around kind of movement. If you notice in that right hip right now, your femur is stirring all around in your hip socket, kind of massaging out the hip. Let's take it back the other way. Okay, come on back to center and just pause in your lunge. And let's get the left knee really lined up with that left upper arm and start to press the knee in towards you like you're trying to push yourself over with your left knee. And so keep a little bit of engagement in that manner, but then also, right, we're pushing against the floor with both legs. So the legs are active, okay? And as always, it doesn't have to be all of your strength, but let it be some of your strength. 5 to 10% is perfect. Once you're feeling pretty grounded here and you're ready to start twisting, you can reach up with your left hand. Take a big breath in as you open up your chest. And as you exhale, reach under that right arm. Go ahead and bend the right elbow so you can reach as far as you like. Okay, we'll do that a few more times. Maybe just close your eyes and just enjoy moving and breathing without any kind of plan. Okay, just follow the natural pace of your breath. You might hear some pops and crackles, and that's okay. Make sure that bottom elbow, the supporting elbow, is always softly bent, okay? There's never a lock in your elbow, especially those of you who might have wrist problems. I want you to stop locking your elbows, not just in yoga, but all the time in your life. Keep your elbows soft. Okay, go ahead and reach up and then hold here. We'll hold in this twisty lunge and I'll spin around to face you. So that left hand is up the right knee is down. And if you need a break, you can put the left hand down. Okay, if you want a little spice here, you tuck the back toes, you lift the back knee, and think of lifting the right kneecap as you drop the hips and press against the floor. So soften your bottom elbow, make sure it's soft, peel open your big chest. We're just gonna breathe here for a little while, okay? Take up as much space as you can. Big breath in, big exhales. Maybe one more big breath here. Let it go here. Drop that top hand, drop the back knee if it was up. Come on back to hands and knees. And then again, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and walk your hands back to your feet here. We're gonna fold again, okay? Some great traction for your back, your whole spine. So soft bend in your knees here. Maybe because you're a little bit warmer now, you grab your elbows. Then swing side to side. And then see if you can rock the weight forward and back on your feet. Forward and back. All right, so we've twisted the low back and we've gently lengthened it from side to side. And now is a great time for us to kind of warm and massage it a little bit so that we can get some good circulation and blood flow in there. Okay, but first let's come up to standing. So inhaling here, press down into your feet, roll yourself up. Come on up. Lift that big heart up high. Exhale here, draw your shoulder blades down and together. So drop them down, feel your heart lift. And inhale to come back up. Exhale here, hinging at your hips, fold it all the way down. On your inhale, halfway up. On your exhale, give your legs a hug, big fold. Palms are coming down here. Inhale and walk yourself all the way forward to a momentary plank. And then exhale, drop your knees, come all the way down to your belly. So from here, just get your elbows underneath your shoulders. And I want to play around with Sphinx posture. So Sphinx posture is a really nice one for low back care because you can feel that we're kind of compressing. We're gently compressing the low back here as we lift the rib cage, okay? But I want you to just be really, really compassionate with your low back and not try to push or have it do anything that is not comfortable. So just proceed with compassion. So the first thing we want to do here is give your belly a really nice wiggle against the floor and feel your belly is really smooshed and grounded, okay? And with your elbows under your shoulders and your hands gripping, think a tiger claw grip here with your hands. Make your neck really nice and long. So you have seen pictures of the Sphinx in Egypt. Perhaps if you're lucky, you've seen it in person. And you can picture the big, strong claw arms coming forward and the strong, big, proud chest, okay, of the Sphinx. So think of driving your elbows down into the ground and pulling back on them. Kind of like when we're doing a cow posture and we pull back on the ground to move the heart forward. That's what we're cultivating now. So elbows are driving down and back, pulling that heart forward. At the same time as you do that, could you also think of pointing your tailbone at the ground? And you might feel your belly button lift up slightly when you do that, or that it kind of wants to lift up. And that's okay. That's what we're cultivating. So point that tailbone down, lift that belly button. Now your low back is safe, okay? So please keep your low back safe. Continue to pull your heart forward. Now, everyone's going to be really different here, so I'm just going to give you a lot of options that you can play with. Don't feel like you have to do one or the other. Just do what feels good, okay? Staying right here is a fantastic option. Just pointing that tailbone down, lifting the belly button to protect the low back, elbows down and back, heart up, long neck, okay? There's enough to think about right here. If you decide you want a little bit more from this, you can grip more into your hands and start to hover your elbows. Maybe just start with an inch hover. Now what's important here is we want to make sure the elbows point down and not to the side. So keep those elbows pointing down. Keep that tailbone pointing at the center of the earth. If it feels pretty good, you can lift your elbows more and more and more, okay? You can even walk them closer to you or walk your hands closer to you and pull more on the mat, okay? But think of pulling always, never pushing, okay? So those are some upper body options I can offer you, okay? For the lower body, there are also a few options you can play with, and you can do these in combination with or alone with the upper body options. So lower body options are, you could bend your knees and point your toes at the back of your head. Okay, we still want to keep that tailbone pointing down kind of feel. We still want to keep the pulling the heart forward feeling. Okay, if bending the knees feels great, you can start to lift your knees, really strengthening your glutes here, so you'll feel it. Keep breathing wherever you are. In your Sphinx posture, okay? Strong, powerful massage for your low back. Big breath here. Continue to pull the heart, lift your knees. Maybe one more nice breath in Sphinx. And then release yourself all the way down. Unbend your knees. Take your arms out. Just slide them out away from you. And just drop your forehead to the floor. Okay, that was a nice big back bend. So take a moment just to breathe and let that back bend kind of wash over you. Back bends can be exhilarating and energizing. And it's nice to just feel the effect sometimes. Okay, from here, we're perfectly set up for a little twist. So take your arms out into cactus arms, and you can just rest your chin on the floor. Okay, chin or forehead, anything that keeps your head aligned at center, so you're not looking to one side. Okay, you decide what's more comfortable. I like chin on the floor. And what's important here is we want to keep our chest really low. Okay, and you'll see what I mean. It's going to be challenging, but you can see. So a little twist. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Point the right toes up at the ceiling. And then pick up your right knee. Okay, so the knee is now lifted. Pick up your right hip and start to move your right toes to the left. So your right hip is off the floor now. Your rib cage is off the floor. The right side is peeling up. So you can let the whole right side peel up as you send those toes to the left. But keep that right shoulder down. So don't let the right shoulder come up. So lengthening all across that right side. And then bring it back in and let the right leg go. And we'll do it a few more times. So it's okay if it didn't make sense the first time. Let's do the other side. Bend the left knee. And then pick your left knee up. And then start to point the left toes to the right. So the left hip comes up, the left side of your belly comes up, and everything comes up, but try to keep that left shoulder down. Okay, bring it on back to center. So I like to pair this with some nice breathing. So I like to inhale when I'm at center, and exhale, sending right toe to the left. Do your best to ground that right shoulder. Inhale to center. And exhale, left toe to the right. Ground that left shoulder. And just go side to side like this. It might be a really tiny movement, okay? It can be very subtle. Or you can make it a big movement. So what we're doing is we're just massaging that low back here, spreading open the front body. We'll take a few more rounds on either side. Okay, maybe 2 more on either side. Keep those shoulders grounded. Last one. And bring it back to center. Okay, hands back underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up to hands and knees. And then from here, try this. Pick up your right knee and point it behind you. And then point it over to the left. And then drop it to the floor. So you've now crossed your thighs, okay? And your left thigh is on top. Your right thigh is behind. And you can just start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Okay, from here, try just sitting on your right foot, okay? I like to put a little bit of a flex in the ankle and just kind of sit on the right foot. The left foot is just over there on the floor on the left. And we don't need to be really picky about how the left foot looks right now. But we're just gonna fold very gently, very slowly over our legs. So we just did some nice back bending and extension of the spine. So take your time just walking your hands out, away from your legs, letting your upper body kind of curl and drape over your legs. Remember to breathe. Let your head hang, keep your neck long. And maybe you eventually come down to 1 elbow, maybe 2. And even though your spine is rounding, with each inhale, bring a little bit more length into that rounded shape. And with each exhale, feel the hips get a little heavier. You can even push them down a little bit with your hands. Maybe 1 more breath here. And then take your time coming out, and we're just going to switch sides. Same thing on the other side. So hands come back out on the floor. And if you just lean forward and pick up your hips, coming back to that hands and knees shape, you can switch sides. The right knee is back under your right hip. The left knee points back to the right, and then on the floor. And then you've crossed your thighs the other way, and you can walk back. This time you're going to sit on your left foot. You sit on that foot. The right foot is just out there on the left. We're not picky about it. And then just settle in. Keep your hips heavy, spine long, and start to drape yourself in slow motion over your legs. Some days you're going to stay up on your hands. Some days you're going to come down to your elbows. So just be compassionate with what's going on today. Notice your hips here, your back. Notice each side of each thigh. Okay, inside, outside. All right, maybe 1 more breath here. In this little variation on a child's pose. I call it a rock pose. I'm not sure if it actually has a name. And then start to bring yourself up and out of this. Okay, come on up and out. And sit your hips to one side. Okay, come on down to a seat. And then from here, I'm just going to have you roll onto your back. Come all the way down. So any low back care program, okay, any low back practice that we're just aiming to protect the low back long term, we need to address some strength in the abdominals, the abdominis rectus, the transversus abdominis, okay, because these are the muscles that protect, but also balance out. Your low back is so strong in general. And if we have some balance, some strength in the front of the body, we can keep the low back from getting clenched and tense. So I'm going to get us a little bit of core strength here. So feel free to take breaks if it's too much for any reason. Okay, so go ahead and drop your heels to the floor. Drop your hands to the floor like you're setting up for a bridge posture. Okay. And as a matter of fact, we're going to come up into a little bridge for part of this. So put that imaginary tennis ball between your knees. So your knees are engaging inward slightly. Okay, and your nose is pointed up when you're coming up into your bridge so that the back of your neck stays off the floor. But this time, instead of inhaling up into a bridge, we're going to exhale up into a bridge. So try like this. Press down into your heels. Take a big breath in. And exhale to press your hips up to the ceiling. Inhale to lower them. And this time when you exhale, curl your head and shoulders up off the mat. Reach past your knees. A crunch. Inhale back to the mat. Hands down, head down. Exhale, bridge. Inhale down. Exhale, crunch. Now let's take a few more rounds like this. And you could take it nice and slow. Feel free to reduce your range of motion, so make the movements smaller if you need a break. But always good to engage that core, engage those abs, keeping that low back safe. Okay, let's do 5 or 6 more rounds, just like this. 5. 4. 3. 2. And next time you're up in that crunch shape, hold right there with me. Just breathe. So your head and shoulders are peeled up. Your neck is nice and long. So try to get all the wrinkles out of your neck. Okay, keep breathing. Put those knees a little bit engaged inward. Pull the belly button down to the mat. One more big breath here. And let it go. All right, give the knees a little shake out here, a little windshield wipers. And then from here, extend your left leg and just bring your right knee in. And you can use your fingers interlaced around your right shin. If you have any kind of knee injury or sensitivity, just take your hands behind your right thigh so that you're not compressing the knee joint, okay? So either way, please squeeze that knee in towards your heart, give it a real big hug, and we'll take a few breaths, just pressing the shoulder blades into the ground, like you're trying to smoosh the floor down. Notice how your right hip crease feels, and then also feel free to move the knees side to side a little bit, kind of experimenting with how the hip crease feels when you maybe move the knee a little bit toward the midline, a little bit away. And then we're just going to turn it into a twist. So now using just your left hand, move that right knee to the left. Okay, you can make a cactus arm out to the right and look out to the right. And we'll take some big breaths here in this twist. Think of having a really big open chest with each inhale. And a strong belly that moves inward on the exhale. One more big breath here. All right, let's bring the right leg through and let it go. And we'll do the other side. Left knee in. Grab the knee behind or in front and start to pull it in. Okay, squeeze it towards your heart. Press your shoulder blades down and then kind of waggle the knee side to side. Breathing into that hip crease. It might be a little tender. Okay, you can always just take it easy on the knee squeeze if you have some super tender hipness. And then we'll turn this into a twist, using the right hand on the left knee to take the left knee to the right. Okay, left arm makes a cactus, and we're looking to the left. Nice breath here. Remember your big chest on the inhales and your strong belly on the exhales. And maybe one more breath here. And bring it back through center. Okay. Extend your legs here, friends. It's time to rest. So settle down into your resting posture. Flip your palms and your feet out and up. Let go of your breath. Just let it be effortless. Let go of your body. Surrender all effort. Feel all tension draining out of your body. And if you notice your thoughts coming in and you're distracted from just noticing this moment, that's okay. Notice your thoughts. And then bring yourself back to observing the moment. And please keep resting like this for as long as you can. This is where I'll leave you today. Thanks so much for practicing with me.